Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, joined as always with the best of the best of the West. You can't forget about Sarah Marshall for another episode of the SmackDown Breakdown presented by Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show. Sarah, what's poppin'?
Hey yo.
Hey yo to you too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
How we feel? I'm feeling great today. Okay, I'm feeling really good. I came. Yes, we've been up since 3:50 in the morning. Eastern Standard Time. And I had a good day of work, pretty solid, and we're taking a nice little Saturday to ourselves. I know I get called Mr. Popular by you and the other peeps around me, but we are, and we've been going out a lot, kind of getting out there, and I spent this entire afternoon just watching wrestling. So
I'm shocked to hear that.
I know we're pretty shocked about that, but not just WWE. And it's a great place to talk about this, is I started watching Impact again. Because now that WrestleMania is over, and probably tonight, before I watch something else, I'll throw on maybe Backlash, from either the 90s or early 2000s to get you in the Backlash mood. But, right now I got Limitless on the Bezos TV. We watched in Impact Wrestling from 2013, Aces and Eights, and even Adam Pearce. I texted you about that. And then we watched Botchamania, and that's my favorite thing to watch when it comes to wrestling compilations or whatever. Not to laugh and be that asshole, but botches happen so often, and I just love watching the different types of them. For instance, like the table not breaking. That's not their, issue. Sometimes the table just doesn't fucking break.
The indies ones are the ones that make me cringe the most, because some of it's like they're just trying way too hard to do something cool or whatever, or something that is far too difficult for them to do, and it's always just so cringy because it just reminds me of like a little kid being like, look what I can do, and then it's like they just fail before they even try, and I'm just like, why
One
why
girl
even
was
do that?
doing a suicide dive with
Jesus.
because it was an extreme match, obviously, but with shit over her shoulders that, and it was like she was carrying 2 jugs of water, like one of those sticks, and your arms went up.
Yeah.
And then she starts running towards and does a suicide dive.
Like, why?
And I'm like, what? But then falls. Just didn't even complete. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But
well, because
what?
Because I think that like you understand like the desire by those in the indies that want to try and do like as much as possible, or do something that's going to make them stand out or get a viral moment or get them noticed. But it's like, just because you think it sounds cool, or just because maybe you can do it, doesn't mean you should. Because then you end up in one of those moments, and I feel like that's way worse than anything else. Like, I wouldn't want my mess up seen by millions of people, and that's their only knowledge of who I am.
Yeah, if it's funny and makes them giggle a little bit, I'm in.
Maybe.
Laughs on people's faces, but we did. But we're here to talk SmackDown, not just the indies. Which you said that it was just meh.
I wasn't. I think it's because I was working on an article last night that required all of my attention. I was writing about 10 receivers in the draft, so I had to make sure I was focusing. And so I was like, I'm not even going to attempt to watch SmackDown tonight, because I know I won't be paying that much attention to it, and I want to be able to. So I put it on today as I was just like cutting some clips and whatever, but I was a little distracted, but I felt like nothing was happening that was making me not want to be distracted. You know what I mean? Other than Gunther's match. Like I
Well,
was
that
paying
was
attention to that. But
yeah.
otherwise, yeah, I just felt like it was kind of like like it had its moments, but I don't know, I just wasn't super into it this week, but
I liked it because to me what it did was continued the hype to Backlash,
yeah, see,
and
I'm just not
I
excited
can't
about
believe
Backlash,
you're
and
not
maybe
into Backlash.
that might be why too. That might be my bias, that I'm just not there's not really a match that I'm super looking forward to. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not into it really. I mean, they just announced Seth versus Omos. Like what the hell is that?
Yeah, that okay. I'm not kidding you. I was watching and that popped up and I had like a mini panic attack. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I had a mini panic attack because I thought I missed something. I
I
thought I missed like a segment or so. I was like, what are like how is this what's going on?
Yeah, I can't watch SmackDown live, so I actually wasn't really paying attention to a whole lot that was going on yesterday, which was kind of shocking because usually I will pay attention and be like, I'm gonna watch it anyway, but I didn't, and I saw that because like everybody was talking about it. Everybody was like, "What the hell is this?" Like they've never even interacted. Like why is this a match? And my immediate thought was other than the fact that I don't understand it, I think it was just Triple H's way to be like, okay, we want Omos there because he's a spectacle, and then we also need to have Seth Rollins on the pay per view. So here you go, like let's make them into a match. But it's like you couldn't have thought of anything better, like nothing. Like you
Yeah,
couldn't have paired Seth with anybody else or Omos with anybody else. It's
this is
just I don't know.
this is what I think of it.
You just want to be able to use that. That's the only reason.
But wouldn't you agree that it's just a bunch of nonsense?
Yeah, this is just a
Okay, there we go.
weird, yeah, decision by Triple H. So
But that was so weird. I kind of got a little off track. But yeah, other than that, like, well, Backlash, that's what that's what I was gonna ask. Thank you for a little royal rambling to spark the brain. Is it because Roman Reigns is not at Backlash that not only you, because you're not in the minority here. I feel like we have a lot of people that are not as excited for it because you're coming off WrestleMania. You want to continue that hype in a way. Wouldn't you want to have the champion, especially in Puerto Rico, outside the country, technically, to start their international summer tour? And you're not going to start with the champion. And I'm if that's the reason, I'm with you. I just want to hear what
in a
you're.
way, yeah, I think, and it's not even just because the champion's not going to be there, because I honestly don't think that he would be defending the titles even if he were going to be, or if he had been around since WrestleMania. I highly doubt that they would have him defend the title anyway. So I'm like, that's not something that I'm missing. My biggest gripe, other than the one that I constantly talk about of the champion holding the titles hostage, is the kind of like flatlining of the bloodline storyline. Like there were so there was so much hype built around the bloodline and Sammy and Kevin Owens, and it all came to a head at Mania. But then there were so many different avenues that they could have gone down post Mania, and we were excited about the demise of the bloodline, and what was Roman gonna do because the Usos lost, and is Solo gonna do something, like what's going on? And instead we just have to play guessing games. And it's like I'd be a lot more interested in the bloodline stuff, the Usos, whatever, if there were some sort of new element to the bloodline storyline. Otherwise, it's basically the same thing every single week. And then it's like, oh, Paul Heyman says that Roman said this. Well, I don't give a what Roman said. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel the same as having his presence there. Like I said, I would much rather have him in the back sitting on a couch doing his locker room type of stuff that he's been doing for months, than not have him there at all and have Paul Heyman playing telephone. Like I don't know. I get roasted on Twitter and even, in YouTube shorts and TikToks and stuff when I say anything negative about Roman. But I feel like it doesn't matter if it was Roman, if it was Brock Lesnar, if it was John Cena, if it was Randy Orton. Like, if this was whoever would be champion and they had both of the championships and then they were hitting a milestone, because we heard now it'll be 965 days as champion. So he's a little over a month away from hitting 1,000 days. What's impressive about that, first of all, when he's not around, and second, he's not defending it. Third, they're not on the on the programming. Like, why? Like, you don't watch football and then just stop watching at the end of the season. Don't, like, you, if you were a football fan, you watch the Super Bowl because that's the whole point. But
to go off that point, when the Super Bowl end of the year, whatever, week 1 to 3, 4, people don't watch. So do you feel like they're treating it like that?
I mean, if Roman is just not going to be at Backlash, then fine, whatever, I'll get over it. Like, it's fine. But the fact that they haven't addressed anything about him allegedly being gone until SummerSlam, I think is also what's fueling my irritation, because I can't even count on, oh, he's just going to miss Backlash. It's fine, because he probably wasn't going to have a match anyway, especially against Cody, which would traditionally be the rematch at Backlash. Rematch. So like that's fine. Like, but I don't have any sort of optimism that he's going to show up after this pay-per-view. I don't, and I think that's even more messed up to keep him off of the London show, off of the Saudi show. Like, you're going out of the country for 3 months, or, out of the country for 3 months straight, and you're not going to have the champion on these shows. Like, are you kidding me? Who decided this? It's just, well, yeah, and it's not just a bad look on the company, it's kind of a bad look on Roman. Because, like, I had somebody say to me last night when I said, because of course I tweeted about it again, about Roman not being on TV, and I had someone tell me, well, it makes him look like a more dominant champion and blah blah blah. No, how does sitting home on his ass make him look like a good champion, a more dominant champion? He's not doing anything. Like,
it's
he's
that
not
mythical, like, symbol of him. He's the all powerful. He doesn't need to be there. He's there when he needs to be.
But it's like, that's not even true, because there's other people that he can defend the title against. Why not have him start a rivalry with Seth Rollins? Why not have him start something with, I don't know, like anybody, Bobby Lashley? Have him start something. Like, you could have him move on. Is it just, oh, I just get the opponent, and now after I beat Cody, there's no one deemed worthy? Like, what? You're really saying that he's beaten every main event talent? There's nobody else. So then who the hell is going to beat him? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems, I don't know. I could rant about this all day, but it's just very. No, it's not. Don't even. That's disgusting.
No, I have a theory. I have a theory that either Solo.
It's gonna be Solo, but
it's going to be. But I don't know. I forget. But like, there's just a lot of people that could take him down. But it's just, I don't know. I'm with you with the fact that it's just. I kind of see where they're going with it, so I'm not all that upset. What they're trying to do is set up something at SummerSlam, maybe the culmination, or honestly, I don't know. I could see them doing this for a whole year and doing Roman Solo at Mania 40.
But the thing is, though, is like,
Solo takes down the bloodline.
You're letting him coast to a legacy. You're letting him coast. Like, I'm sorry, but when you look back at iconic champions, you don't look back at ones that didn't defend the title for 4 months. Like, those are champions that are like a joke. You know what I mean? At least in my eyes, because you have champions that are defending it on Raw, SmackDown, random pay-per-views that no one cares about, that aren't WrestleMania, SummerSlam, whatever. So to me, it's like, okay, he's going to coast to 1,000 days. That's okay, but like,
because they want to make him Hulk Hogan.
But that's not Hulk Hogan. Like,
Hulk Hogan was, or Bruno Sammartino. It's that type of feel with this champion.
But how often was he defending it?
I would say Sammartino maybe every few months.
But see, we're not in that era anymore.
They're trying to make it that era.
But that I don't. But like, but just for Roman, because they're not going to make anyone else this long-term champion for 3 years. That
Yeah,
it's like that's never going to happen again because they're going to want it to be Roman. But like, I don't know. For me, there's always just going to be an asterisk next to his name. Like if he hits 1,000 days, great, wonderful, awesome. Unless you come back full time and you're starting to do this shit all the time, then to me, I'm just going to look at you and be like, okay, like you didn't really work for this. Like, I don't know. And
yeah,
it's hard because I like Roman.
I do
So
too. I think
and people mistake that though. Criticizing the fact that he decided to get a Brock Lesnar contract where he doesn't have to be there and he's a part-time champion. People mistake that for not being a fan. Like, and it's like, no, I like him. I like the storyline. I think he's become one of the best heels in the company or in wrestling as right now. But it, like I said at the beginning of this whole rant, it would not matter who was in his shoes right now. I would be complaining every single week. It could have like, that's why I mentioned John Cena. If it was John Cena and he's my all-time favorite and he was doing this stuff, I would be like, what is wrong? Take the titles off him, or at least one.
You would be saying
You
the
know?
same thing. Yeah. I will say you're thorough. You stick to your guns.
Yeah, I'm
So it's not a
passionate.
personal thing.
No, it's
like
not. And
I
that's
like
just,
it. No, yeah,
I just want
absolutely.
to, sorry, my cat just tried to attack me. Jesus, she almost tried
I
to
think
bite
Remy
me.
disagrees with you.
Whatever. She's like, we the ones. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, Remy's throwing up the
She
ones with
straight up just shot me a look when I said that. She was like, from the
They're
floor.
so intuitive.
That was terrifying.
Let's get some comments before we get into our first topic.
All right. Sorry for the rant. Sorry.
Now we need. This is how we start off and get the juices going. David says, "Yo, Kingdom of Razor's back. Great to have you back in the yard of streams, mi amigo. And he also would like to see me with the U.S. title. Listen, I would love that to just sit here, spin it the entire time. Maybe a nice graphic, but that's not up to me. That is up to whoever wants to deem me that gracious title.
Yeah, I was gonna say whoever wants to gift it to you.
Whoever wants to gift it to me. I'm not paying the full. Well, plus, if I'm gonna buy any title, it's it's not gonna be the U.S. one yet. I want to wait till I'm a little older, a little more prestige. I would get the world heavyweight, either the world heavyweight or the WWF Attitude, because that was the first title I ever had. Was that the globe, and it would come full circle to have like the plastic one into the ring. Be a really cool full circle moment. And then we agree. Like this is a match that you play in 2K where you have your little brother or nephew or niece, whatever, be Omos because they're the biggest person. You're like, well, who's my favorite wrestler? Oh, it's Seth Rollins because majority of people probably is the favorite wrestler. So yeah. Nathaniel likes your Patriots gear. That's so nice.
Oh, thank you. The only reason is because I just didn't feel like getting dressed today. So
I'm in a shirt. Look at this collar. It's so long.
It's
I
a
didn't
U-neck.
realize that.
It's a U-neck.
Yeah. And then he also said that he would love to see Edge and John Cena later this year. Oh, to end him, I would like John Cena to end Edge's career. I would not hate that.
Cena's birthday is tomorrow, so he's gonna be 46. So I don't know how often we're gonna see Mr. John Cena around.
That's true.
My cat will not stop. She will not stop. How many times do you think she's gonna jump on my lap and me put her down before she realizes that I'm just gonna keep doing it?
And King Razor asked this: do you think a storyline will work? A group like a congressman type group, like I would say a bloodline type faction, Judgment Day, but a women's faction, I assume, declares war on the women's division. They want to cancel it, and all the women wrestlers face. So maybe down the line to maybe hype up an all women's pay per view, but I don't think this is anywhere in the near future. So,
sorry,
all right.
I'm just
you dealing with Remy and you are feuding right now.
Now she's sticking her nails in my leg, so that's Well,
let's start with the Judgment Day and LWO, which I want to say I bought my LWO shirt. I finally did. I'm so happy. I got the Mexico one. want to go.
I was really happy to see that this was a match with Finn and Damian and that Dominic was not a part of it. That's one of my favorite parts about it because they were still getting the heel heat because a lot of people think that the Judgment Day is not really that over unless they have Dominic, which is not true. And again, it's another match that they have Damian in. So I love it. And I don't know about you, and I know I'm biased, but heel Finn Balor just feels so different. Like the way he just carries himself, his like mannerisms, just like everything about it is just like he's so cool.
It's got a different
You
aura.
know?
I will agree. It
Yeah, there's
feels
just
more natural.
yeah, and I love how he like hyped up Damien too because you know he does that little thing with their entrance. And so I liked that he kind of was like, "Yeah, man." Like he was all like excited for him cuz Finn just stands there.
Yeah.
um but yeah, no, I liked that. And then I never don't like seeing Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. I just think like I can't get over the fact that this is like his childhood hero and he's like tag teaming with him. Like I just that has it's you know, it's like what we talked about with Austin Theory and John Cena. Like that has to be pretty cool.
Oh, it's unbelievable. That's a dream come true.
And my biggest takeaway from this match was I'm glad that the Judgment Day won.
Yeah, you need to have Judgment Day win. LWO doesn't need a win right now. They still will
They're
get
so
the win.
new that like
So
they don't need to be legitimized. I mean, they are. People love them anyway, but the Judgment Day just kept taking L's and it's like what is happening? Like so yeah, no, I was glad to see that for sure because um they're having this match at Backlash, so we need to see them have some sort of momentum.
yeah, they need. Well, yeah, you need to have them have momentum going into Backlash because
Yeah,
this needs to be the year of Judgment Day.
and
Feel
Imperium.
yeah, one for each show.
Yeah, well, Imperium's on SmackDown, so it
Maybe
just
not for
depends.
long.
I don't know. They keep teasing that, like breaking the people up, and I'm like, don't do that.
They'll do it to the lesser people, like the lesser popular factions and tag teams.
I
That's
guess,
what
yeah.
like you're not going to split up LWO. You're not going to split up um who was the tag team? Not Pretty Deadly because I'm trying to think of
I don't know who you're thinking
Street
of.
Profits. You're not going to break up the Street
Oh,
Profits.
yeah.
You're not going to there's just you can't do that now. It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And with the draft before when you did that, it was time for them to see, oh, what can they be as singles competitors? But we haven't even got, I mean, maybe for the Street Profits, but the New Day kind of broke that. But with the other tag teams, we still need to see them as tag teams. They haven't
Mm-hmm.
got that attention. That's why you have the draft.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Anything
all I
else
have.
to add about this match? Or just
No, I mean, like it didn't make me more excited for the match necessarily. Um, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm just not invested in this storyline. Like I'm kind of over Dominic versus Ray and like all of the different aspects. I'm just ready for the Judgment Day to move on to something else. And especially because now they're all involved in it. You know, it's like
oh
they were
yeah.
all involved and then it became just a Dominic thing primarily and now they're like all involved in it again. It's like why can't we have something else? Like can they do something else? Like let this just be a Dominic issue and like have them move on. I mean after Backlash at least. Please, I don't want to keep seeing Ray versus Dom for 3 more months. Like I don't want it.
That's what. Well, the Bad Bunny is the glue to
Well,
this.
yeah.
And that's why the backlash. So it makes sense there. It feels like after this, they're gonna go up in different directions. So they're gonna go kind of go like that because you're gonna have Judgment Day win, regardless. Doesn't matter. And then they're gonna go in that dominant. It doesn't matter where they go, they're gonna dominate. Where LWO, they're gonna go the other way, but up still because they're going to finally start their journey as the LWO. They're going to start finding their identity and where they can be successful. Maybe a nice tag run, maybe a feud with someone else that may get drafted from NXT. the options are there, but at least if they're doing it correctly, where you have Judgment Day win, but LWO, doesn't get buried, we'll say, then you're doing your job. And the crazy thing is that Bad Bunny being the glue of this feud isn't even a bad idea, because Bad Bunny can work in the ring. That dude is on the level of Logan Paul when it comes to outsiders stepping into the business. He gets it. And what I like about Bad Bunny is that he's not trying to be like a Logan Paul or have what fans want Logan Paul to be, I would say. He's just doing it because, like, he loves wrestling. He just wants to get in there. They're going to use him and to their advantage, but he's going to milk the cow for as much as he can. And then he's going to go back on tour. And guess what? Guess who he dates, Sarah?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, now you got the Jenners and Kardashians in WWE again. So
no, we're not. We're not.
Pop
No,
culture entwined. That business, baby.
Nope. They need to stay away.
Happening.
That doesn't mean that the Jenners are going to be on WWE TV.
No, but you get them in the business side of things. I'm not saying anything about TV. I'm just saying
absolutely
investors, money.
No,
it's all money.
No, absolutely not. No.
All right. Well, I see differently.
No.
All right.
Well, no.
Do you? What about Nathaniel? Do you think that? When do you think Ray and Dom end? After Backlash?
I don't think so. I think we're going to keep seeing Ray versus Dom. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it all culminates at SummerSlam, and maybe finally at SummerSlam we see Ray versus Dom again. Maybe it's a no DQ, some Hell in a Cell, something. A cage match, something that just like finally puts the nail on the coffin, but is like, it's going to be like, okay, the LWO can't get involved and Judgment Day can't get involved, or if they do, nothing's going to happen. But this is just like, okay, like I just wouldn't be surprised if this is something that isn't necessarily at the forefront of either of their like careers throughout the summer, but is something that's always like constantly brewing. And then it's just like, okay, Ray is just like, I'm over this. We need to just finish this, or we need to just leave each other alone. At least, I don't know.
What if at SummerSlam you have custody of Dominic ladder match, LWO versus Judgment Day?
There is no custody.
Who? Which family is he really a part of, Sarah?
He's like 26 years old. He's not up for adoption.
Custody. That's okay. Use your imagination.
Well, you said custody. Well, I don't think about custody when it comes to a full-grown adult.
Well, yeah, so, neither does reality, but WWE thinks differently. They'll find a way. It's
what would be interesting? What would be interesting is Rhea was recently asked if she thinks that she could get Buddy Murphy back in WWE. I think he would be an amazing part of the Judgment Day. But of course, something would have to happen there. Imagine a Buddy Murphy versus Dominic, but like 2.0. But like not involving kissing Aaliyah when she was like fucking 17 years old and he's a grown-ass man. That was just like weird.
Buddy Murphy is currently AEW's trio champ with the House of Black.
I'm just saying in general, I felt initially when I saw that she was like, oh, I can be like good at convincing or whatever, right? And I was like, oh my God, he'd be so good in Judgment Day. And then I realized, oh, Dominic is there. So that wouldn't work because of their history here. But I don't know. I think he would be an awesome addition to the Judgment Day, but who knows? They're also in a hiring freeze, so it wouldn't matter even if he was a free agent.
Damn it. Mm-hmm. Next, we got Nakamura, the king of strong style, and Karen Cross had a little something to say to the king of strong style.
I like who Triple H obviously likes, because he takes the time to hype them up and like put them over. So we know he loves Ricochet. because Ricochet was barely on television when Vince was around, which is just one of his bonehead decisions. Now he's on TV every single week. Even before he was with Braun, he was on TV every single week, killing it. I feel like he's kind of like this era's Dolph Ziggler at this point, but more of a high flyer.
More
What?
successful.
Well, not
in the
not
ring.
yet,
Stats,
not yet.
Stats. Yeah, stats.
Yeah, I just mean like he's a different wrestler, but as far as like selling goes and just
Correct.
like being like, yeah. And then we have Bronson Reed, so he's trying to put Bronson over. And this is another one. Nakamura was gone, and like he kind of like fizzled out for a while before he was gone, and now he's being thrown over by Triple H, which I love because I like Nakamura. There was a reason why people were singing his song, because people loved him because he's entertaining, he's so different, he's so good, and so I really liked that. And before I go into Karrion Kross, do you have anything you want to say about Nakamura?
I Shinsuke Nakamura should have been WWE champion. Still has time to be one if they ever decide to get the titles out of the Island of Relevancy. I love Nakamura because of his Japan style, bringing that over to WWE, and he's just good. Like his whole aura gimmick, all that, and to pair it now with Karrion Kross, I think that's money or fish in a barrel.
Yeah, I'm more of a Scarlett fan than I am a Karrion Kross fan, as you know. But I thought this little promo video package, whatever you want to call it, with him was actually really good. And I felt like it had some interesting aspects to it. I wrote it down saying, first of all, I felt like what he was saying and just the whole vibe of the video was really compelling, because like I actually sat there and watched it. Whereas sometimes, you might see a video package and just be like, okay, whatever, like it's just another video package. But I thought it was interesting because we've talked about how maybe this is his last shot at becoming relevant and solidifying himself on the roster. So I liked how they addressed his former feuds that kind of none of them really came to fruition. Like they never really ended. They just kind of abruptly stopped happening. But I like the twist that he put on them. So he addressed McIntyre, Mysterio, and what was the other one?
Who did he feud with before? Was it Madcap?
No, yes, Honor. Madcap. Yes, Madcap. So I like how he mentioned all three of them and then said, oh, after they dealt with me, look at what happened to them. Like this happened to Drew, this happened to Ray, this happened to Madcap. So I was like, whoever came up with that is actually pretty brilliant, because it does look like he had a bigger impact on them than what we feel like, because I don't think any of those feuds are memorable or were all that good, to be honest.
I agree with that. I thought the Drew one wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but that strap match was could have been better. So anyway, so I just felt like, him discussing what his influence did, like how it altered their stories for their next rivalries. I felt like that was a really interesting way to involve him and hype him up a little bit. So I feel like this kind of seems, like you said, him versus Nakamura, I think is far more interesting than what we've seen from him so far.
It'll be a good match. They're going to produce a very good match. So I'm very into that.
Yeah, and I think it's a good one for Nakamura to come back to, because I think it's easy to just throw him to like whoever the biggest heel is at the time. But I think that this is a little bit more interesting because you don't really know what to expect from either of them right now. And this is just easy to get Nakamura back over in everyone's good graces, apparently, because, people didn't really care for him as around the time that he left. So, yeah, I'm intrigued so far. So we'll have to see how they continue the Karrion Kross rivalries of the last several months. They haven't been that great, and they haven't developed into anything that was interesting enough to keep you wanting to see what was going to happen next. So hopefully they do it right this time.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. What are you watching?
We have Becca. We have Mainstay Posse, Limitless, and then we got hockey on too.
Okay, I just hear a lot of like, oh, like what is going on?
Well, the TV was loud. We were watching something earlier, and but no, my three of my favorites in Limitless, Becca and the Mainstay Posse, are fighting Brad Cashew and somebody else. So I'm very excited for that. That's gonna be a good one. But let's turn our attention back to the main screen for right now. Something we were just talking about is on TV all the time. Braun Strowman and Ricochet and the Viking Raiders, Sarah. Valhalla.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Valhalla.
I've grown to love the commentary between Wade Barrett and Michael Cole because they just say some of the most ridiculous things. Like Cole, when Valhalla was like freaking out on the ref and he was like, she's speaking gibberish. And then he like paused for a second and then was like, or in tongue, I don't know. And then Wade is like, just because you don't understand what she's saying. Like he was all like defending her. And I was like, no, she's literally saying nothing. Or I don't know. I was just like, they're so weird. But yeah, I mean, you know, this match is what it is. Braun and Ricochet are entertaining. I love how, you know, Strowman did that one-off thing where he ran around the ring and just knocked everyone down, and now that's like a part of his arsenal.
It's incredible. It's so stupid and silly, but it works.
Did you hear what they called it? Did you hear what Cole and Wade were calling it?
I forget at the top of my head.
Michael Cole called it the Strowman Express, and Wade Barrett called it the Meat Train.
All aboard!
All aboard the meat train. And I was just like,
come get on the meat train.
Sounds nasty. So I just thought that was funny. And I was like, I mean, it's an easy crowd pleaser, I guess. You know, I mean, I don't particularly really am not like, yeah, like I don't really care. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there was anything like super thrilling about this, but you know, it involved the Viking Raiders. So I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it.
I love the Viking Raiders. I've started to love the Viking Raiders. They're good. They're good.
I didn't say that they weren't good. I'm just like I don't care about, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I would change them. Like I don't know. They could just be like two big dudes, but even then it's kind of like with there was another tag team that was kind of similar. I can't remember who it was, but it was like another one that I just don't care about. But I think it's like, it's just a very specific look that I feel like is kind of hard to make them interesting. Cause it's even like, remember Mike Knox? Like he was a big dude, but it's like, you can't really make him into anything interesting. You know?
Kelly side piece isn't interesting.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, there's only so many ways. So it's like, to them, it's like, okay, yeah, they look like Raiders, I guess. But then it's like, if you took that away from them, you would still try and make them into something like Gallus. You know, it's like, oh, they're Irish. It's like, okay, so the Viking Raiders are just gonna be like these two giant dudes. I don't know. I'm just not, I don't care, you know? And there's no one that's like equal to them. They always are like going against guys that are smaller than them. So also that doesn't, I mean, other than Strowman, obviously, but like when there's a one-off tag team that's just like gigantic, it's not really interesting to keep watching them go up against people that can't keep up with them, if that makes any sense. Like, I just don't care to see you squashing 175-pound Ricochet. I don't, every single week. I don't care.
I love it. I don't know.
Well, hey, you can be their one and only fan.
I will gladly be their fan.
If the Viking Raiders have 5 fans, I'm one of them. If the Viking Raiders have 3 fans, I'm one of them. If the Viking Raiders have 1 fan, I'm one of them. #blessed. You know?
Hey, Sarah, what do you think they do on the Meat Express?
I don't know.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
Slapping meat. Yeah. So
one of our best ideas putting these in, because I just love seeing these and just like, for instance, this makes no sense, but like
Die, 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 and all that stupid crap.
what,
Yeah.
You do all that all you want.
Very good. I know. I said that we need to go through them and either add more and delete some, but it's kind of hard to think of ones that are good.
But I gotta get better at that when I'm watching something. Go right to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
I know. I was trying to think of that too. I was like, when I was trying to think of ones, I was like, I don't know. But anyway.
Liv Morgan and Rocky Rodriguez took on the complaint department. That's what I'm calling them. They've been saying it on the announce booth, and I'm sticking with it. I feel like they should just steer into the skid and just call them the complaint department. It's perfect.
It's Chelsea. It's Chelsea. I love how that's at this beginning of her song. And it sounds like she's on the phone, which is even better. It's like, it's Karen. Sorry, I'm calling again to complain. Did you get my Yelp review?
Did that go through?
Yeah, please. Yeah, so this was a fine match. As I said to you, I thought it was a little sloppy, but I did enjoy some parts of it. I liked how it ended.
Yes.
How it brought everything together with the water bottle. However, I wonder how this, obviously they're continuing this, so it's not over because of the water bottle thing and the way that Raquel made sure that Chelsea could not kick out of the pin. So I'm wondering how they're going to spin that, because even Wade was like, why do they always catch Chelsea and Sonia cheating, but the referee just happens to not see it when it's Raquel? And I'm like, exactly. But same could be said about how many times the bloodline gets involved in matches, For some reason, the referee just never sees when the Usos are in the ring. Like it's just kind of one of those things that it's wrestling. Like I'm pretending I can't see or hear anything that is happening behind me. I will not look at that.
What is happening?
Screen.
I can't. I don't. What's going on behind me? Is he getting hit with a chair? I don't know.
I didn't hear anything. So so obviously that's just a way to continue it. Probably gonna have that match happen at Backlash, I would assume. I think they need to do that, because if we're not gonna have the world titles on at Backlash, you might as well stack it with like every other one. So that at least it's worth their money. If they're not going to see the world champion, then at least let them see matches that mean something.
You know what I like about this feud a lot is that last night proved that they're good in the ring. They may not be 5-star yet, but what I liked is that it showed how Chelsea can be good, because we haven't seen a lot of Chelsea Green in the ring. And I thought she, hit her spots well, at least. Liv and Rocky are a great team. I love when bedfellows like that are put together. And it's like, well, they're not a tag team. It's like, well, they're two individuals that when you get to this point in your career in wrestling, you got to team up with somebody who better than, each other.
Talent.
Exactly. It's a perfect combo. And what I like about this is that you can get a lot of backstage entertaining stuff out of this.
Yeah.
Where that adds fuel to the fire and adds a little bit more to the match and the rivalry, because then you can, go off that and have a longer match where you show off your skills a little bit, tell the story in the ring, and, potential at this point. Like, Backlash is so up in the air. I mean, I'll even admit that it's up in the air going in on how good it's going to be, where this could be a match that steals the show. And they need a women's match to do that, especially a women's match that's not for the main title. If it's for the tag team, it's perfect. Showcases 4 people.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to keep saying it, but we're nearing a year since Sasha and Naomi walked out. So it's like they still need to work on elevating the women's tag division. So this would be a great way to continue that, because as of right now, it's still kind of stale. Like, as much as the whole storyline is interesting because the pairing of Chelsea and Sonia is really good and feels just really natural. It's still, 2 random women paired together against 2 random women paired together. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we get like Kaden Carter and Katana Chance that get brought up
Just
from
about to
on the
ask you where
draft.
you think they're gonna fall.
I think they'll be brought up. I think I would love to see a bunch of NXT people brought up. Not like a ton, but it's weird because they're a lot of the ones that you thought were going to be brought up at the Raw after Mania are involved in some big storylines right now. Like Bronson is not just like chilling and like doing nothing. Like he turned heel, which he had to because the audience turned on him. So it was like you gotta do that.
You gotta do something. You gotta steer this kid there.
Yeah, so unless they can just formally end whatever he's doing in NXT fairly quickly, then I don't know if he'll be brought up. But I would love to see those two. But then we also need to have more legitimate women's tag teams because like they're a legitimate tag team that neither of them would ever be the face of the women's division. And I say that in the most respectful way possible. They're just too small. They're great together. And that's a thing too. Like sometimes, and I've said this on here before, but I'm going to be preaching about it again. Sometimes people just thrive as a tag team, and that's not a bad thing. Like, and I think that we need to get past like trying to make one person out of a tag team like a star. Like sometimes that is the case. Obviously, we have the infamous Marty Jannetty and HBK thing, but not every single tag team has a Marty Jannetty. You know what I mean? Or they're both Marty Jannetties, but they're really great together. You know what I mean? So it's like
you get one Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, yeah. So if you could just morph them together, but
you get a sexy boy.
Yeah. So I think that they need to just focus on that because also there's no way that you're gonna have room for all of these solo stars. It's just never gonna happen, and that's a big reason why so many people sit in the back and they're not used on shows like every single week, or if they are, they're on main events, which we just discovered was still happening. So it's like make more tag teams. Like even we mentioned her, but Dana Brooke, why is she not in a tag team?
Why is Dana Brooke not on television?
I don't know.
Dana Brooke's really good.
I don't know, but anyway, I'm just saying like those are the type of girls that you could be put in tag team, but make them like a legitimate tag team star and keep them that way. Cause like there's a reason why the Hardy Boys were together for so long. Cause yeah, they could go off and do their own thing, but they were so good together. The Dudley Boys, same thing, but it's like they tried so hard to break them up. And it's like, yeah, they would go off and do their own thing, but it's not a bad idea to keep them together either. It's just not. Especially at the cost of one of them not then being able to do anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I really have nothing else to say about this.
Okay.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, I got it. Sorry.
I'm doing all.
Yeah, you're not. You just started doing it, so that's why I just kept.
I did. I'm testing the waters.
So then we had Gunther versus Xavier Woods for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I don't know what you say about this. It was great. Gunther is I text this to you every week, and I have to try to refrain from posting it on Twitter every single week because I'm just obsessed with Imperium. I'm obsessed with Gunther.
Why hold on. Don't apologize for it. Own it. Own that you love it, girl. You love it. Just say loud.
It's just because I say it every week, so I'm just
So
saying
what?
like, it's nothing new. But like I even wanted to say earlier, and I was like, I can't because I'd catch heat for it. Be like, how can you call yourself a wrestling fan and you're not a fan of Gunther? Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't have to like him as a character. You don't have to be into that. But come on, man.
Respect him.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to put a lot of stock into the whole rating system, Dave Meltzer's rating system. But this is a dude who single-handedly has the most 5-star matches in like wrestling history. So it's like, there's a reason for that. It's not a bias. It's because he's so damn good. And this was a match that he didn't necessarily outshine Xavier. It was a good match. Where I knew that Gunther wasn't going to lose, but if you were someone who was like, he has a chance to lose, like there were several moments where you thought, oh shit, like Gunther, Xavier might have this one. So I think that's cool too, because we were just talking about it. I don't know if it was last week or what, but sometimes when there's a champion that's like as dominant as Gunther or even like Roman Reigns, people go into it and automatically assume whoever they're facing has no chance because, oh well, we already know that they want to make him a long champion and whatever. But it's nice when they actually provide those moments for you in a match that make you feel like, okay, maybe they do have a chance at losing, because that just makes it a lot more entertaining as a fan to watch, you know.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I just love Gunther in how they present him. You know, obviously his in-ring stuff, how good he is one thing, but the entrance with Imperium,
I can't.
and I'm obsessed with the jacket twirl into the
I
catch, into the like. How many times do you have to practice that to get it that smooth?
But also, how did they come up with it? You know what I
Brilliant.
mean? Because I've never seen anything like that in my life. And it's funny because if someone just did that, I would be like, dude, that's corny as hell. You know
Yeah,
what I
like what
mean?
the
Like, but the way they do it is just very, like, very much in tune with the Ring General and the Imperium, you know? Like,
very
it just
intimidating.
fits the whole thing. It's just another thing I keep saying about so many people, but it's just like Imperium and Gunther, they're just so cool. Like, it's
They're
just,
insane.
I don't know. I'm obsessed.
Oh,
Obsessed.
they're awesome. I just yeah, the presentation, you know, you there's such a good faction in that sense. And I honestly thought they were going to stay at ringside, but then you have them leave because this is his business, he's going to take care of business. And you legitimately thought, like as you said, that Xavier Woods was going to win. There were times where I'm like, oh God, they might do it, they might pull it, because he did not lose. That was his first loss since 2021, I think, in singles competition.
Xavier?
So yeah,
Well, and they were hyping so much that he's never had a singles title.
never had a
So
single
when
set,
they
which he
hype stuff
should.
that much, I'm like, oh, you know, like that's when you start to worry.
Yeah, oh for sure.
But I was like,
I
I'd
love
like to believe they wouldn't dethrone Gunther on a random SmackDown too. You
no,
know,
they're gonna.
don't do that to my boy. Don't do that.
He should be the one to obviously knock off the honky tonk man. But this is where I was going. I knew I had my. I think that Gunther should be the next WWE Undisputed Champion.
Oh yeah.
He should take down the bloodline,
Um.
bro. Like that. That's the final boss. And what
Well,
they're doing is just they're grooming Gunther. He's gonna be the star, and that's why Roman just sitting there is pretty. He's doing well, and out of nowhere, maybe that's like SummerSlam will be that rise in the story like in a movie where you get that battle scene or war scene or conflict, and then like you have a little bit of a down period or whatever, and then there's the rise in the end of the movie. SummerSlam's going to be that conflict, and then you're going to go a little down with the bloodline down, and then you're going to rise up heading into WrestleMania to hype them up a little bit. Boom, Gunther Imperium take over, and then you end the bloodline into Imperium.
see, like I like that, but then I also kind of like the idea of Gunther kind of being the Roman Reigns of the Intercontinental Championship, like having him just continue to reign as long as possible, even till like next year's WrestleMania. Just keep the title on him because he defends that shit on Raw and SmackDown. He doesn't even have he's defending the championship more than anyone else. So that's not a concern. But what I would love is, he's doing that, and yeah, maybe we're like, oh, okay, in the background, like, that the long-term plan is for him to face Roman at Mania or something, right? So in the meantime, have all of the stuff go down with the bloodline. So have Roman face Solo, I don't know, SummerSlam, at Royal Rumble, something, because you think that that's the eventual results that we're going to see, but don't have Solo win, right? Like if we're going to keep Roman champion for a long time, like they want to make him champion for like 4 years or whatever the fuck. Oh god. Then like don't have Solo win, but have the bloodline like turn. So it's like Roman's by himself. And then I feel like it would be cool to see Roman versus Gunther at WrestleMania 40. And even if Gunther was still Intercontinental Champion, dude, Gunther 3 belts. Imagine that.
I didn't even think of that.
Because like then it would be you're like, okay, well, he's been the Intercontinental Champion for a long time, but then he's going up against a dude who's going on 4 years. Yeah, he has Imperium in his back pocket, but like he's not going to use them because he doesn't rely on them the same way that Roman did for so long with the bloodline. It kind of makes it harder to try and figure out who would win because they've both been so dominant. It's like, okay, well, somebody has to lose. Like, don't have Gunther lose until Mania. Like, you know what I mean? Like, still don't have him lose because have him win at Mania. But that makes it more than like that. The winning streak stands out just as much as the Roman Reigns reign. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of like equals each other out. Like, I would love to see that because then if we're going to have Gunther versus Roman, I want it to be minus the bloodline because I don't want to see any more bloodline interference. I'm over it. Like, and we're talking 11 months from now, And oh my God, wait. If we were to go to WrestleMania and that was the match.
That's what I'm saying. That's why this is why the goal right now is to get to WrestleMania 40. For all these people listening, our peeps listening or watching, that is the goal right now.
Let's set up a GoFundMe right now. GoFundMe my WrestleMania trip, please.
We gotta do
Thank
some
you.
fun. We gotta get there. We gotta have the underground help us too.
Oh my God, I will be Gunther's biggest rat.
That would be the greatest. That would be the greatest weekend.
I'm the only one with an Imperium shirt on, and just like, yeah, everyone's like, oh no, I love Roman. I'll be like, fuck you.
I will be right there with you chanting against Roman because I have gotten into a screaming match with a 7-year-old birthday party at a Raw event where they were screaming, let's go Roman. And I'm sitting there with my beer going, Roman sucks. My friend's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Roman sucks. You gotta play along.
Yeah, you gotta do it. I mean, people did it for so long when it was Cena. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. I mean, it's just kind of like a rite of passage at this point. Like, it's tradition. It's historical. You got to do it. Anyway, sorry, I'm not paying attention. Oh yeah, sorry, my mouse turned off. Oh, okay.
Promo.
So the Usos. Yeah. So the Usos promo. I definitely was saying that we all need hype men like Jimmy and Jay. Like, they are the hype men we need, but we don't deserve them because that wasn't their best mic work. But I loved Jimmy being like, so bro, like what's going on, bro? And I was
it was unbelievable. Yeah, that was
like,
awesome.
Why do you sound normal talking like that? Like, that was too good. And I loved when Jay was like, this is that call your mama and tell her the Usos are on TV kind of rematch. I was like, yes, like hyping that match, like that's something that got me more excited because I was like, you guys are so good. And yeah, so I enjoyed that. They did mention on commentary that Roman Reigns hit 964 days, which is 965 today. So that is just 35 days until he is 1,000 days. So I would like to believe that we will see Roman in 35 days, which is 5 weeks. So I would like to see him, if 5 weeks is a lot better than 4 months. So, because there's no freaking way.
So much time to have him off television.
I know. Welcome to my frustration. And that's the thing too, though, right? Like, I don't want to get into this conversation. I don't want to get into this conversation again, but just to touch on it briefly. It will be cool when he hits 1,000 days. Like, that is iconic. Like, congratulations. But I feel like he can't be off TV every day up until the 1,000 days and then just show up and be like, it's 1,000 days. Like, it's not going to hit as hard. It's just not. Like, I feel like he needs to be around at least the week before to like hype it up.
Yeah,
even have a match, like a title defense that you think, oh, what if it ended on like I don't know what exactly would the 1,000th day be. So that'd be 5 weeks from, it would be 5 weeks from today. So it wouldn't technically count, but I guess they could do it on SmackDown and be like, oh, because then like the next day would be the 1,000th day. right?
True.
So
Yeah, you can group it in.
so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. It would be May 26th would be 999. So that's still a long time though.
So
And there's a
long.
pay-per-view at the end of May. What is the one in the end of May? I don't know. There's another pay-per-view at the end of May. But
Yeah, wait. May
what is it?
isn't that Saudi?
I don't know. WWE pay-per-view in May 2023. Let's see. Okay, this is not what I wanted. May 27th, Night of Champions. Dude, I will be absolute. That's the 1,000th day. That's the 1,000th day. Holy moly. Okay, he has to be there, right? Like he can't. First of all, it's Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
They're
you
gonna
have,
go-
you have, you know,
they're-
that
they're
book
gonna be
slam,
like-
boom.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, don't even come here if you're not bringing the champions. Second, have him defend it at the Night of Champions. You can't have him not on a show called Night of Champions when he's the champion. 3, have him title defense. That would be so much more iconic. I can get behind that. But like he needs to be around at least a week before. You know what I mean? Because it can't just be like well, yeah. No, I don't mean like the day before. I mean like yeah. But
2 weeks.
yeah,
I'm
that's
saying,
what I mean. He needs to. I'm trying to be kind and saying only a week before.
Oh, I'm full.
Yeah. So
Angry boss.
then you know what? Then if this is what happens, I mean, I'm still gonna be pissed up until that day because I still think it's ridiculous that you're gonna go to Puerto Rico for the first time in 18 years and you're not even giving them the champion. I think that's BS. But I would be super here for, dude. That is such sick timing. Like the timing, like I wonder if they chose Night of Champions in Saudi on that day for they had to have done that on purpose. They had to have. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence.
If it's a coincidence right now, it's not.
2 pay-per-views in 1 month. They don't do that. So that's not a coincidence. That's great.
This will be the only time I'll ever agree with Saudi Arabia, but if you are gonna have Roman not be there and all this circumstance we talk about, I don't think I would be rip shit and I would withhold. I'm sorry, but like you gotta have him there for everything. We can't be that is just
the show is now called Night of Champions, so it's not King of the Ring anymore. So it's like
King and Queen.
Yeah, King and Queen of the Ring. So they changed it, which I think is the right thing because you can have a King of the Ring pay-per-view, but then you should also have a Night of Champions pay-per-view. Like I think they should have been separate. So I'm glad that they did this. Plus the King of the Ring thing doesn't even mean anything anymore because then they just started giving it out as punishment to people as like a character. It was like, oh, King Corbin. Okay, like whatever. Anyway, the only king I acknowledge is King Booker.
Booker.
So anyway, we need Roman Reigns, but who does he face at Night of Champions? Is he just going to get thrown to whoever? They're going to give him some easy person, aren't they? They're just going to try and tease it and be like, oh, I need to defend my title on the 1,000th day. They're going to give him like Tozawa or some bull. But they need to actually
kind of squash matches. That would be the worst. That would be sandbagging the Saudis so bad if you're gonna throw out Roman versus Tozawa.
I know they're gonna have to pick somebody though because the fact that they still do business with Saudi after everything, they're gonna want to see a good match, and that's gonna be Roman versus somebody. So it's like, who is that gonna be? Imagine Roman versus Seth, but I don't want Seth to lose. So if Seth is going to fight Roman, then Seth would have to win. So I don't even want that to happen because Roman has never beaten Seth. So I wouldn't want.
No, you can't do that for his 1,000th. Who is like a semi-retired, not really, could still go in the ring type of legend?
Yeah, but but then that would also mean, are you willing to go halfway across the world to Saudi Arabia to do a one-off match also? Like that's asking a lot.
I mean, Goldberg, Bray Wyatt. There you go. Get Bray Wyatt in the picture. Get him back in that title, whatever, and you do it in Saudi Arabia. I don't know.
Maybe
spitballing here.
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. Oh, I did hear bad news though. He's not.
Well, his ankle's still not okay. I know.
No.
I don't know. They're going to have to think of something, though, because you cannot have a show called Night of Champions and not have the champion on the show. And when it's his 1000th day, like, you can't have him miss both things. That's ridiculous. And don't try and pull the bull thing where they have him on SmackDown to celebrate it. You know what I mean? Like, don't pull that either.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that leads us into the main event, which was
Nathaniel said Edge Roman Reigns.
I mean,
before I want to get one more, but yes,
I don't think it would be bad. But how do you just casually get Edge involved with Roman? Like, Edge is he's not even been around since Mania either.
I need one more title match before he throws the Christian one more match.
Yeah, I was at those SummerSlams when he kept doing that too.
He says it.
Yeah, I just deserve one more match. Shut up, Christian. What are you doing? But anyway.
And King Morazer, because we're doing comments, I will give him this. Gunther reminds me of an executioner when he's wrestling. High rank mafia. That, yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah, but like with their own twist, you know, because I feel like
like more of a what are they called? Oh fuck, the Peaky Blinders.
I don't know what that means.
More hardcore.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Peaky Blinders?
No,
I haven't watched it either, but it's fucking
idea. I've not got a clue. I'm sorry.
They are British.
Yeah. So am I, apparently.
Are you really?
But,
well, that's why you do the accent. I can't do it. I'm terrible at accents.
I'm like almost half Scottish for some reason. I don't know. It's odd. But yeah.
Did you know I'm Canadian?
Yeah, you've told me once or twice.
I'm proud.
Congratulations. I don't know what you want me to say. Good for you. I'm so jelly.
Good for you.
I'm Canadian. Anyway, so we got Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa in a no disqualification match. You know, I feel bad saying it. I just don't care. I just don't care about this. Like, I
knew you were just gonna be like that.
I just don't care about this anymore. It's just like, you know, now what are we gonna do? Are you gonna like get a match at SummerSlam to avenge your 4-month stint of being in rehab and then sitting at home pretending that you were injured? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, okay, I get it. You're mad because he quote unquote took you out, but like, I'm just over it. I don't care. I'm not invested in it. Solo is sick. I don't care. Solo's my favorite member of the bloodline. So
yeah, I like Riddle though. Now I think what they're doing with him is really a smart move.
Don't make me have to repeat what I said on Tuesday.
All I'm saying is I think what they're doing with this aggression, and instead of him making, being a 420 bro and being more serious, and it's like, I'm gonna kick some ass and I'm gonna do this, like, make him just Ken Shamrock.
Well, I told you, I complimented him for that. I told you. But that doesn't make me intrigued by his storyline right now. I just don't care. Like, I don't know. And I don't want to see Solo lose. I was already upset that they had him lose to Cody going into Mania. I thought that was dumb. And I love Cody. So, I mean, but yeah, I don't know. This is just something from the beginning that we knew was probably going to happen because it made sense for Riddle to return and that this was the guy that he was going to come back and feud with. So I'm not mad about that. I just don't care. Like, it's also just kind of like a lame foundation for a storyline. Like, I'm so mad that you took me out in December. Like, okay. We get it.
I'll give you that. It's
like, how many times are you gonna have them kick your ass until you finally are like, okay, I'm sorry, like, you're better, I suck. Like, how many times you're gonna have Solo beat you? Because there's usually a no disqualification match is kind of like the top of the mountain as far as a rivalry where it's like, okay, now you can do whatever you want to this person and then you can't get disqualified. So like, where do you go from here? Like, nothing. No one cares about this enough to be a cage match. Like, there's no elevation of this more than this match right here. But of course it's going to continue because they are facing the Bloodline, right? In the in Backlash, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's
Okay. Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bloodline versus
Yeah.
yeah.
So like we're gonna see that, but I'm like, after that, can we just end Matt Riddle versus Solo? Because I mean, for me, just for me, I'm just
I'll
asking on
I'll
behalf of
end the
me.
I'll end the show with this because I think it's a good question to ponder and leave off on. Who do you think gets the pin at Backlash in that match?
I feel like I think it depends on the direction that they're going in the Bloodline, right? But because it's a non-title, I almost feel like the Bloodline need it if that is going to be a lead-in to Roman returning. You know, like they've already hinted at, oh, Roman is sick of you guys, like he's getting tired of you guys, well, minus Solo. So this would be a way, like, if they can get the job done, even if it is Solo does 99%, right? Like, it's not gonna matter because as long as they come out with the W, then it's like, oh, so like at least then if we're not gonna see their eventual breakup immediately, then like because I would assume they're gonna try and keep the bloodline together for Night of Champions, then
What?
I feel like
Yeah.
they have to come out with the win. Because it doesn't hurt Riddle, Sammy, or Kevin because they're first of all, the two are champions and it's not for the titles, and it's not really a match that means anything other than like, oh, we're just
Exactly. So it doesn't mean anything really. In the great scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. I know what you mean.
yeah.
So
But then it's like,
because
but it would mean something for the bloodline to come up with a win, specifically Jay
what if
or Solo gets it.
here's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
What if, because it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, and you kind of need to hype up Riddle, what if Riddle gets the pin on Jay? Not a clean, I'm not saying like Riddle gets a clean little combo into a finisher 1, 2, 3. But what if something happens where Riddle ends up with the pin because for business purposes he needs to win. And the way they're going with the bloodline falling and how the Usos, he's not happy with it, except for Solo. He's it's all Solo. So Solo gets taken out somehow, and then you have Jay get the loss, gets pinned. That is so much heat on them internally heading into the next few weeks that now you're really starting to show those cracks and really starting to show that dissension between the bloodline, having Solo be more of the guy. And then you have the Usos just go on their own. And then you have like Sammy, like, I told you it's going to happen. And
Well,
then you set up a potential something at Night of Champions.
Well, and then that also could be the reason that Roman returns because he just sees like you're just constantly disappointing me. You're embarrassing me. What is going on here? Blah blah blah. You guys are the weak link. It would also be kind of cool to see Solo like purposely like not try to help. You know what I mean? Like if he fell on the sword, but like was like, oh, I'm taken out of the match, and then because of that, it allows for the Usos to take the fall, like to lose. Yeah,
He's on the ground.
so
There's
it's
a
like
camera
it's
shot.
like it's the complete opposite of what happened at Clash of the Castle, where he came in and helped Roman win. This is going to be the opposite, where he's the reason why they lose. But like not obviously.
No, yeah, it would be like a background, like he could help in and
yeah, but Roman would know what he was doing.
Or Paul does one of these.
Yeah.
Imagine if Paul Heyman is one of those to help. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't get down with what we're talking about, I don't know what the hell you're listening to, because holy shit, we just came up with probably the best ending to Backlash. So I hope that comes true. And I hope all your dreams and wishes come true because you tuned in to this episode. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned into this SmackDown breakdown recap part of Pits and Sarah's Wrestling Podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, iHeart. I don't know where else you can think of one, and it's probably on there. So go hit that subscribe button, leave that 5-star review, and a comment. We need to see some better comments in Apple. So if you could be a peep, write a good one so we can get rid of the bad ones, because the bad ones have nothing to do with us. It is a misunderstanding. Not answering that. And if go check that out, and go check out Sarah's YouTube channel as well, who's what you are watching us on. We have all clips and other streams in the archives. You know, if you don't have the hour 15 and 2 seconds to sit and recap SmackDown with us, then you can go check out the clips that Sara at this point has clipped the majority of. Mine are in the way archives. So go check out those clips. And then follow us on social media, on Twitter at Pat_Pitts and at SMarshXO for all things wrestling and Patriots too. You know, you got your Patriots hat. I got my championship of the Peeps and Patriot Peeps right here, undisputed. And Instagram as well at Pitsy35 and at SMarsh_. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All I got to do is try. We will see you next episode.